All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Zeahlot Lopez, and today we have a great guest here, repeated customer. We have Ian with us, and Ian is a real estate professional and an amazing person in building and cultivating relationships. And Ian, just so people can pop in, because I know you have your own network here, right? Mm-hmm. So you're at Vida Therapy Inc., right?
Yeah.
Which is my private practice for mental health, relationships, and just getting it together, right? So go ahead and let everybody know on your side what we're doing today and what we're going to talk about.
Yes. So we're going to talk about business relationships and how to cultivate them, and pretty much what drives you in the business world, right? Z, once again, I thank you for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure. You're an amazing person. I am just baffled at the opportunity that you allowed me to have. I really appreciate it. I'm ready to have lots of insight, interaction. I'm excited.
Likewise. So Ian, I have to ask, just before, every time I have somebody new, right, and you're meeting some of our interns, you're meeting some of our audience, what's a fun fact about yourself? What's something we could learn about you today?
Wow, a fun fact.
Come on now, what's a fun fact? What's a fun fact?
Wow, there's lots of facts about me.
Yeah?
I would say a fun fact about me is ever since I was a kid, I would say ever since I was like third grade, I got embarrassed one really good time, and then after that, I never.
You lost your shame?
I lost my shame after that. You really can't you really can't be embarrassed after one incident. Would you like for me to share the incident with you?
Yeah, okay. Are we all interested? Give us a scoop. What happened?
This is pretty embarrassing.
Okay.
I don't think too many people know the story, so you're going to get this first scoop right here on this show, right?
Special edition?
Special edition, right? Special edition.
Right.
So I was doing a project for a state project in third grade. I want to say I had to get in front of the class, give my state project.
Like a science fair situation?
It was on the mission, San Juan Capistrano.
Okay,
I
the
remember
mission.
like it was, I
The
remember
sugar
like it was
cubes.
yesterday. Yeah, all that good stuff, right?
Yes.
So, of course, at that time, I was terrified speaking public. Unlike now, you would have never thought. So I get up in the middle of the classroom, start my introduction and everything.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes in, I just felt this warm sensation going down my leg.
Yeah?
Yeah, I happened to let loose on myself in front of the whole classroom. And then I instantly ran to the bathroom, and then that was a pretty embarrassing moment. But ever since then, everything's up since then, you know what I'm saying? So, fun fact, I don't get embarrassed anymore.
I mean, after that. But did you win the award for most unique?
I made it. I made it through the thing, you know what I'm saying? I did win an award. I don't know if it was most unique, but I left a memorable impression, if you can say.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think anybody ever forgot you, right?
Definitely not.
What grade did you get on the project?
I believe I got an A.
Yeah?
I might have been a sympathy A, but
Maybe.
I got
Let's just let him pass.
Right?
I agree.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's a fun fact.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing, Ian. And then, do you want to let everyone know on your side, like, what we're doing here, what Vida Therapy is, or what you know?
Yes. So, Vida Therapy, amazing, by Z Lopez, licensed life and family.
I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a licensed clinical professional counselor.
Man, every time I see her, she just adds something to the
I add
repertoire.
some ABCs in there, right?
Something to the repertoire.
Yeah.
Man, amazing. So for my viewers out there, once again, this is Z Lopez, my friend, my confidant. I refer people to her all the time, and they have nothing but the best to say about Z Lopez. Nothing but the best. I mean, I can't have one person come back and say, oh, Z was okay. She was cool.
No, she popping.
Nah, she popping. Z's popping, and every time I have a question, I come to you, Z.
Right.
And you're just the most professional, smart, intelligent, witty, funny, not dry like these other people out there.
Right.
But you get your point across and very articulate. So I really appreciate you as a person and how you operate as a business.
I agree, Ian. And then, so what we're doing today is really just getting to know you, getting to know your business, but also how do you cultivate relationships? I know that throughout the program that I've had for interns, they're asking me, how do you cultivate business relationships, maintain them, but also how do you do it in a professional manner where people know their boundaries and limits too? That's one of the most important questions we had for you today. So let's jump into that. How do you cultivate your relationships?
Yes. So how I cultivate my business relationships is especially today with a lot of business, it kind of mixes in with personal.
I would agree.
Would you agree? Yeah. So how I cultivate, the best business relationship is I get to know them as a person. I get to know them through their business life. I ask questions about them through business and through personal life. For example, every time I meet someone, I say, hey, my name is Ian Mike, I'm a real estate professional, yada yada, but enough about me. What about you? What do you do? And so, for example, like you, you're a licensed, counselor, right? Is that can I say counselor?
Yep.
Okay, great, licensed counselor. So I would say, hey, Z, what does your day-to-day look like? How do you operate in your business? In order for us to have the best business relationship as far as us working together, what does your client look like? What is an ideal client for you? That way, whenever I stumble across somebody, I can be like, hey, I have the best person for you. You got to talk to Miss Lopez. You have to. She's the best person out there for you, right? And so, but also you have to be genuine. You can't just say that. You have to actually feel that. I say that about you because I actually feel that about you.
Right. We've built that relationship.
We built that relationship. There's been people out there who I can't vouch for, and your name is everything. For example, I had someone come up to me and said, hey, Ian, I appreciate our business relationship. Could you shout me out on your personal network, right?
Put me on.
Yeah, put me on. Put me on, and so, and I told him respectfully, hey, you know what? I love you as a person. I have what's the word I'm looking for? I have a legacy to uphold, right? Which ultimately means that I can't just refer anybody to my personal network. I have to get to know you. I have to trust you. I have to be able to vouch for you, because if I vouch for you and you go out there and you don't do what you're supposed to do, that's on my name, and then my word is tarnished, and I can't have that. I definitely can have that.
I would agree. And I've heard, over time that, because you're a real estate professional,
yes, you
guys are literally the plug. Like, relationships are what builds your business.
Oh, yes.
How many door knocks, how many people, here's one thing about you, everybody, I want to know, you have a great morning routine.
Yes.
Talk to us about the importance of morning routine, how you do it, and how has it flourished in your life. What has it brought to you?
Right. So your morning routine is everything, as you know. How you start your day is literally how the day plays out.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So my morning routine starts off, I wake up about 4:30 in the morning.
That's it, 5 a.m.
Yep. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I walk my dog, and as I'm walking my dog, I'm still paying attention, but as I'm walking my dog, I go through a little devotion, have some time, have some spiritual time. Then after that, I pack up my stuff and go to the gym. I love a good release. Love a good physical release, right? So I go to the gym, work it out, get pumped. Then before I go to the office, I usually get to the office about 7:30 in the morning, somewhere around there. So before I go to the office, I wind down. I sit in my car, relax, and meditate for about 10 minutes, just visualizing how my day is going to look. Visualizing what I want to accomplish throughout the day, how it's going to turn out, say my affirmations, all that good stuff. Then 7:30, the grind starts.
Yeah, see, and I think that's what most non-entrepreneurs don't get. I think that you can set up a business and have all these great numbers, but if you yourself are not well, you are your best product, right?
Oh,
so let me ask you this. There's this Native American saying that says that the human being is like a 4-room house, where there is spiritual, there is physical, there is mental, and then there's this energetic that is unexplained, right? And if we don't visit all 4 rooms, at least on a daily, that our well-roundedness, our wellness is not fully there. And I couldn't agree 100% more. So you mentioned gym, which is physical. You mentioned talks with your higher power, right? I call it God. I don't know what you call it.
That's God.
Right, okay, God. You have your talks, right? 4:30 in the morning, 5, but you get it in, right?
I get it in.
And then you have the mental, right? Of okay, how's my day gonna look, right? And then the unknown, which is the spiritual, the manifestation of what I'm creating that's not tangible. And that's going into each room all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Mental health is everything. That's literally what puts bread on my table, but this is a business and I truly believe in it. How does mental health play a part into the success of your business?
Oh, wow. See, that's actually a great question. I really wasn't introduced to the mental health space up until, I want to say, 3 years ago. And
Yeah.
I'm 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, people in our culture, people that look like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
not
melanin,
really,
that melanin.
yeah. It's not really
Yeah.
popular.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really well taught.
I agree.
Right? So mental health is everything. Mental health. I would say ever since I started to meditate, ever since I started to just have time for myself, visualize, affirm, ever since I started to build up my mental space, life has gotten so much better. Physical health so much better. Business so much better. Just everything in general. Once I paid attention to the mental, man, it just shot everything up.
Yeah.
It's huge.
What type of resources are you finding helpful out there right now, especially as a black man,
Mm-hmm.
right, living in Los Angeles in a day and age where it's like go, 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 right? A lot of technology.
Yes.
What are you finding as a resource to increase either your exposure to mental health or just use it in your daily for it?
Right. So I do have meditation apps, right?
What do you use?
Oh, shoot. Where's my phone? So I forget the name. It just barely started using the meditation
What's it look
app.
like, the app? What colors?
It's like orange.
Oh, Headspace.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Duh.
Headspace.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Headspace. Yeah. So I use
them.
Headspace.
I know them like the major listings. That's how I know mine.
That's your stuff,
it.
huh?
Yeah,
That's your
right.
stuff.
So Headspace.
So I use Headspace. It's really simple too. YouTube. There's a bunch of stuff on YouTube.
I agree. YouTube, free resource.
Yeah,
Yeah.
free resource, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have Audible books. I do Audible books, and plus I have people like you. You know what I'm saying, that I can tap into. So I mean, the resources are out there. It's really not hard to dive into that.
How do you include it in your day though? That's my question, because I feel like a lot of people know it's out there. There are free resources, so price is not like a concern, right? But it's the actual application of it. How do you hold yourself accountable? Because I see that in you. I see that you have consistency.
Yeah, and it's tough. You actually have to create your life around the schedule, around the mental space, right? So what I do personally is I'll map out a day. So I usually map out my week, right? But specifically, I'll map out a day and I'll put meditation, Bible study, whatever, working out. But I have a non-negotiable time for myself that I can't allow anything. So like when I wake up, I don't scroll through social media or I don't look through my emails. I have a specific time frame. Like, hey, this is for me. This is for my health, and no one can mess with that time period. No one. I get it. Life is tough. The Instagram be popping sometimes.
Yeah, people just
you-
going to the gram. Yeah.
You put out a picture out there, get the DMs.
Looking at lunch, like right up like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
tough.
yeah.
I get it. But you will be vastly rewarded if you just give that time, that space, just for yourself and nobody else. You'll be greatly rewarded.
Yeah. And I really admire a couple things that I've known about you over the years, just as a business owner, but also your accountability. So I think most people know that I am a vegan, like 99%. Like I will cheat with the Twix or grilled cheese in and out, like non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And I know that you tried it for a while. What benefits did that reap to you? And it's not me trying to advocate for that, but just the newness and the openness to trying different things.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that you brought this up.
Okay. We're hyper nice.
I'm glad that you brought this up. So I would, I of course, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I do have a self-sabotage part of myself.
Like what,
right?
snacks? Like what are we talking about here?
Like just in general, like in life, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If things are going too good, I'm like,
like Roscoe's or what? Like what are we talking about here?
Any and everything.
Okay.
Any and everything.
Okay.
So I went vegan for about, I want to say, about a cool year.
Yeah.
Right? I went vegan. The best I've ever felt physically, the best I've ever felt mentally. My headspace was great. Business was great. You know what I'm saying?
Clarity.
Honestly, clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity. Everything was clear, right?
Yeah.
Why did I stop that? It's crazy. Everything just went too well. Like life was just going too good.
You self-sabotage?
Self-sabotage. I'm like, man,
life?
I need something's going crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly getting back to it. So like I'll eat meat like once or twice a week. And even then, like, oh my goodness, like my knees feel better because I'm an old man, So my knees feel better, my body feels like my aches are not as achy when I've stopped eating meat, man. And I know I'm not advocating.
Right. We go either way. Yeah.
Go either way, but if you you want to elevate yourself, become a vegan. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. And I feel like one of the biggest things I learned about being vegan was the clarity I had with my own body. Like, it would actually speak to me. Like, I remember when I used to eat meat, like, I just wouldn't be connected because it would take so long for my body to digest it. And the reason I just bring this up is, like, the newness and how it plays into how you start your day, how you feel, how your body's reacting, but also how you implement it into business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the flexibility. So I tend to think of my diet as the same way I run my business. It flows just like water, and you need to flex with it, right?
Yes.
Ian, how do you deal with when things get really rough? Like, maybe a house didn't go through escrow, when the clients just kind of like didn't meet the requirements financially. Like, how do you overcome those? Because I think grit is so important, and you have a great example of that. You're really a person that I'm like, okay, how did he get through this? Because we all have that moment. And do you know about grit?
Explain.
So grit is the ability for a person to pretty much get back up and try again without losing that motivation or that oomph to get back in there. So how did you learn that originally? Who taught you that? Did mama put you on? Did your mom put you on?
You know, that's funny that you mentioned it, because my mom thinks I can touch the sky by myself. You know what I'm saying? So mom definitely installed that grit within myself, right? And so
does mom have that grit, and she showed you by example? Or
man, she showed me by example.
Yeah?
My mom raised me single. So
Right.
single
I remember this conversation, like act right.
Yes, some act right.
Some
You know,
act
so
right.
you know,
Yeah.
I'll give you the story that I'll never forget. It even like brings tears to my eyes every time I tell the story, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's starting to get like kind of heavy right
Mhm,
now, right?
mhm.
So my mom is the type of person you can't tell her anything. She can do anything. She's better than you at baseball, basketball, cards. She knows.
She's got it.
She can name the stars in the sky, all that good stuff, right? So one time I was playing baseball, right? I was struggling trying to, hit the ball, right? And so I was at the batting cage, just struggling. And my mom was like, "Man, give me that bat. I'll show you how to do it." So she grabs the bat, right? She goes into the batting cage. She's like, "This is how you do it." She takes a couple swings, and then one time she swung too bad, and the ball hit her hand and broke her hand.
Oh, she broke her hand?
Broke her hand, right? But she didn't show no kind of fear, nothing. She was just like, "It's okay." And then she just kept going. And then, later we went to the doctor and we found out, she
It was
actually broke her hand. But ever since that moment, I'm like, wow, like, my mom is that powerful, that determined, that she had that grit.
That mindset.
That mindset, like, killer mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for saying that word.
No,
Killer mindset,
Mm-hmm.
So ever since then, I'm like, wow, like that's amazing. Like, I need that. I have to be that way. If she can do that, and she wants to go play baseball, she's never played baseball in her life, and she wants to just try anything and ready to be successful and does anything, and then also too just show me that I can be that same way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, powerful.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And I think I don't want to say it's a lack of those individuals in our lives in general as people with melanin, but it's more so we don't know they're out there. And I think that's why the use of social media in a positive manner to influence and to impact in a positive way as role models is so important. And I see you using your platform. So share with us how you use social media to grow your business. Because that's something that I frequently get asked, like, Z, like, what are you doing next? Like, how are you using this? So tell us. How do you use it? Because I see your stories. Yeah.
So how I grow my social media is just being relatable. Right?
Uh-huh.
Relatable. So, I'm a character, as you already know. I like to make people laugh. Mm-hmm. And in this world, it's a lot to be mad about, a lot to be sad about, And I take my social media space and just, I bring up important issues, of course, but my thing is I want people to feel good about themselves, to laugh, realize that, hey, you might be down, you might be out, but there's a come up. The come ups are, hey, the greatest stories have a down part. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Always be on the lookout for the come up, right? And then also too, there's always someone that's worse than you are, no matter where you're at. I mean, we're in America. We're struggling. We are hurting. We ain't got that much food, but we have a roof over our head. We don't have any.
We have basics. Yeah.
First world problems, right?
Right. Like, he left his socks out. I'm like, that's your problem? Yeah.
Right. People are trying to figure out where their next meal is coming from.
Right.
We're worried about Uber not coming in
Right,
on time.
right, on
You
time.
know? It's crazy,
No,
stuff
I
like
agree.
that, right? So I just
yeah.
try to bring light on my social media. It's just, you know, be happy, smile, laugh. Everything's gonna be all right. That's a mantra that I always say. Like part of my grit, you know, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And very frequently, I will tell people that one of my own mantras is people don't buy a product, merchandise, or service. They buy you. So people are not buying a house. They're not buying a condo. They're not buying their mansion. They are buying you. What we buy, Ian? Go ahead and tell us. What we get you when we buy you?
What you get when you buy
MSL's
me?
list is long.
Yeah, it's
what
long.
What do we get? What do we
it's
get?
long. Well, you get honesty.
Okay.
You get truth.
Is there lunch? No.
right. A little bit of lunch.
Yeah.
A little bit of lunch, right? But you get the best service out there, and genuine, right? I tell this story to all my clients, right? I love my clients. I treat all my clients as if they're like my mom. You know, I love my mom, right? I look out for my clients. There's one story where I was taking out a client, right? Showed them a house. They loved it. It was a family that had a little girl, about 2 years old. They loved the house, right?
Yeah.
So also what I do for my clients is I knock on the doors around the neighborhood just to make sure, you know, it's a good, safe place, especially
That's
for
smart.
my
I've never heard
clients.
of that.
Yeah, I do that because I want to make sure they're in the best investment possible.
Their children are okay,
And
yeah.
their children are okay, right? So one time, the client loved this house, right? Then they left. I started doing my research, knocking around, asking, hey, how's the community? How's everything, right? So I knocked on this one door. And the gentleman was like, you know, the community is great, yada, yada. But last week, someone got stabbed to death on the corner. Yeah, like, how do you say that's a great community, but then
Yeah.
right? And so, right then and there, I was faced with, hey, either
a disclosure.
Exactly. Do I not disclose that to my client? We just go ahead and submit this offer, get it accepted, and everything's cool. I can get paid, yada, yada, right?
Right.
But in my head, number one, my clients are my friends. All my clients are my friends. All my clients are my friends, right? They're not family, they're automatically my friends.
Right.
And I want to treat my family, my friends, like someone close to my heart, someone dear. So I have huge conviction. So I went to them and said, hey, just want to let you know, I talked to the neighbors, did my due diligence, and this is a great, safe neighborhood, but this one incident happened around the corner, someone got stabbed to death, right? And so I know people personally that would not share that story.
Yeah.
They treat people like a paycheck. I can't do that.
That's right.
I have a conscience. I cannot do that. So I told them that story. And the wife of the two just goes, she goes, you know what, people die every day. Let's go ahead and submit this offer. I was like, oh shoot, she's cold, she's hard. You know?
No, but they made a decision consciously.
Yes.
Yeah.
And which is true. People pass away, unfortunate events happen, but
that kitchen, it looks nice.
Yeah, exactly. But I like that house, so we want it. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I just let people know, you know, you just at the end of the day, you want to be able to have a clear conscience when you go to sleep, right? So you got to treat people how they should be treated.
I couldn't agree more, and I think I work the same way in regards to my coaching and therapy clients. You know, I've had so many people, I'll borrow this for a moment. I've had so many people come in and be like, oh, you know, Z, like, we're looking for couples therapy. And I'll be like, cancel real quick, because if you guys don't do the individual work first, you're wasting your time and money. This is why, and these are colleagues I can refer you to if you choose to do couples first. But they don't see that. Or they see it and they're like, thank you so much. Or the support I provide and saying, you know what, I'm already seeing your family member. I can't see you because it's a conflict of interest. Go ahead and see my colleague. It's all about who you refer and who you trust, like you said earlier.
Always.
So Ian, you know, and in regards to another question we had as interns and just as a company here, I am so inspired by you, and I've taken so many things into my own business, which one of my interns very familiar with. Birthdays are a thing. Dates of birth are so important because it signifies the person's existence and their importance. Clients, patients, friends, and families of this company, they get birthday greetings. They get a birthday card and a gift card.
That's dope.
Right there, because ain't nobody gonna say I don't want to drink. Right? Like, who doesn't love lemonade, right? Yeah.
Right.
Tell me who's inspired you in your own work, and what have you learned of tips and tricks on how to grow your business, but really give that friendly, intimate relationship business-wise?
Right. So there's this gentleman in my office, my real estate office, right? His name, well, he wasn't a real estate office. His name was Chris. So he's taught me all about showing the personal relationships with your clients and showing them, you know,
the human
attention,
that you are.
the human
Yeah.
that you are, right? So what Chris does is every birthday he sends them something, sends them a card, sends them a gift card. You know, everyone loves lemonade.
Yeah,
sends them a card. He actually, whenever he sells a house, he actually sends like pizza to the family, like when they're moving and stuff like that. Yeah, like pizza to the family.
So
like
you working?
Yeah, you working. You getting this stuff. Yeah, you're hungry. You need to eat.
Right.
So, you know,
Send
them. Then also too, we have client parties. So he has huge client parties. Takes his client bowling. They have movie night.
Like different clients together?
Different clients together. Okay. Brings everyone together, right? And that's like, that was really cool. I thought that was really cool because like, you know, it's all about having fun. It's all about bringing people together and to show you that you really care about their life events.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like my client had a kid. You know, showed up, brought flowers to the hospital. You know, that the deal was done. You know, I didn't have to do that, but you know, like I said, all my clients are my friends.
But you know, they're gonna have more babies, and then they're gonna need more room.
right. Hey, it comes back.
That's right. That's
it comes back.
Or they refer you to their homies that are having babies, and they don't have a house yet.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It all comes back.
You know, you got 2 houses here, futuristic.
Hey,
you got 2 houses.
I can't wait. You're gonna have that $1 million house.
I know. Yeah, not
I'm all
kidding.
for that. No, that's real. I already know it's coming.
So Ian, let me ask you this. So for many of the colleagues that are watching right now, for us, we have these boundaries and limits for a reason within our field where we can't specifically grow that type of experience or relationship with our patients, with our psychotherapy clients, right? Let me ask you this. In regards to networking, how do you do? Because you also do very well with that. You and I both know that our businesses are based on people, and they don't know about you, they won't know about your product.
For sure.
Tell us tips and tricks you do at networking.
Right.
What'd you do?
So at networking events, I make sure to, I go in there with a purpose, right? I want to talk to at least 5, at least 7.
Do you have a number?
I do have a number.
So what's your number? 5,
My number's
7?
5.
Really?
My number's 5.
All right.
It's because, I mean, let's say the room's full of 50 people, I want to have genuine conversations.
Yeah.
With at least
In-depth.
5. In-depth conversation. I'm not more so too much of a surface guy.
Yeah.
I like to get in-depth, know people. You know, to show them, hey, it's genuine. You can build that relationship so they feel it, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go to the networking events and once again, ask about your life, ask about your business. How can I help you? How can we help each other? You know, how's your day? But I'm real genuine. Real genuine. I think that's the key to building relationships. You have to be genuine. You can't just see people as a dollar sign or you're gonna help me get to the next level. You really have to be genuine. You really have to care about their wants and their needs and, you know, how they flourish.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So then let me ask you this. What do you do when you may be short on time? Let's say you're going to a networking event, but you know you got like 3 other showings you have to do that day. Because that's happened to me where I'm just like, I have things to do. How do you get the most out of 20 minutes? What do you do? What are some tactics? Yeah.
That's tough because that happens.
Yeah, it does.
That happens all the time. So what I'll do is I'll go to the networking event and I'll pretty much set a disclaimer. So I'll say, hey Z, I'm really interested in getting to know you, get to know about your business, but I'm short on time. Let's exchange information. You have a business card. Can I get your phone number? Then we can you know, chat a little bit more offline. You know, as much as I would love to just sit down and talk with you, I do have other obligations, and I don't want to set them back. So let's schedule a time where me and you can connect, and then we can hash this thing out.
Yeah.
And then I'll say that specific speech, but you have to be, of course, one really genuine. Look them in the eye and say, hey, I really want to get to know you. You know, I really want your business to flourish. I can see us working together. Right? Unfortunately, I would love to talk about that. We can't right now. But hey, let's set something up next week.
That's a good point. And you know, here's a couple things I've tried and I've learned over the years with different people that I've met. I don't know about you, but here's 2 things that I do. I've said this frequently, you know, when we've done these lives, where in LinkedIn, there's this Bluetooth thing where you can find everybody that's also on the app and open, just connect with them right there and then. And you find their info. Because nowadays, like, people always have a phone, but they don't have a pen. Like, that's old school, you know. We're not trying to do, like, the wood, where it's like, 5, 5, 5, and then, what was that? Like, and you right? You know, they're all nervous, like, dang, I don't got Alicia's number now, right?
Right.
So what I also do is just like the scanning app on Instagram or Facebook. You just scan it. You know that, right?
No, I don't.
What? We're about to put you on.
Put me
Yeah.
on.
So in settings, there's this app where they can literally just scan your profile and then you exchange that. Or my favorite is when people have iPhones, you just exchange it via Bluetooth, your contact.
Okay.
So in my own contact, my own personal one on my phone, I'll have all my business information and I'll literally just Bluetooth it to them.
Nice.
Quick and easy, and I'd be like, okay, great, like I have 5 minutes, but here you go, here's my contact information.
So do you do that in the beginning of the conversation or after the
No, if I
conversation?
connect with them, but I know that I only have a limited amount of time.
Right.
Because we all know the business cards are great. I'm big on business cards, right? And especially mine because they're like a certain design and there's certain space. Like I won a TV, right? And you know that, right?
Yeah.
I won a TV in a raffle. So what helps is the information will always be there. We always have our phones, right? So here's a question for you, Ian, and then we'll go into the questions our interns have today. How do you make a splash at a networking event without words? What makes you unique? Because I know this is something that really catches my attention. I walk into a room, I scan the room, and as a businesswoman, a woman of color, and I'm female owned. That's rare, especially when I'm walking into spaces at like country clubs, or everybody's older than me, or they're asking me like, you 21? And I'm like, yeah, for like the 7th year. This is my 9th anniversary being 21. Right. But we're both in our 30s and we're both business owners, so we know how important that is, right? I don't know about you, but I have this pin, and it'll say like, I can help you experience happiness, or I can help you find happiness, or whatnot. And it's like an icebreaker immediately, right?
Yeah,
or culturally, I'll have something that says it in Spanish, or I'll even put like, hi, my name is Zeahlot, and my name's the only one in the world. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
And then it'll invite or open conversation. What about you?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Uh-huh.
I need to think of like a pin or something like that.
Well, that's the
to
thing. Like,
stand
how do
out.
you make a splash?
Yeah. So I think me personally, how I make a splash is, especially within a room full of other real estate agents and stuff like that. You it's amazing how not too many people would smile. You know,
Really?
it's amazing. A lot of grim faces in the real
Yeah.
estate world. A lot of grim faces. So I think how two things that I do is normally I'll have some kind of bright colored shirt.
A pop of color.
Yeah, like a pop
Okay.
of color. There's
Okay.
I have a bright colored shirt,
Uh-huh.
and then I'll just smile. I'll
Yeah?
Smile.
Put
have
your
a bright
dentist to
color.
work?
Exactly.
No,
Put-
I feel you. Yes, that is so important,
Put in
especially
the
here in
work.
LA, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And also too, I'm really inviting. Really inviting. So I will. So how I make it, I compliment any and everybody, but I'll be genuine about it.
Right, about your compliment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Z. What is this, Z?
Right.
What is this?
This is a Latinx created product off my homegirl that I found at a workshop.
Mhm.
So I want to support her, so I bought one.
I like it.
Thank you.
Genuinely.
Thank you.
When
It
I-
matches that color.
It
right
does.
there.
It does. We did that.
Mhm.
So like when I
Exactly.
first saw you today, I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Right,
That's good.
right.
So I'll do that same thing, but I'll be real genuine. Like, man, where you get those shoes from? Those is hot. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Or hey, I like that jacket. That jacket is really cool. What's your name? So how I make a difference is I get people to smile, feel good about themselves, and just open up. Makes things a lot easier.
I completely agree, Ian, and I know you and I have had conversations over the years as you're transitioning as a professional, but I think you already are an amazing coach. How does that look for you futuristically? Who are you looking to meet in the network? Like just anybody listening or exposure? Because it's what we put out to the world, right?
Of course.
What you trying to get into?
Of course. I'm glad you mentioned
Yeah?
that.
Uh-huh.
So eventually, I do want to get into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually
You already
reached
are
out.
a coach. You're coaching all of us on like the tactics. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. So I've actually reached out to our friend Elijah
Mhm.
about coaching. So that's
That's it.
eventually what I want
That's
to
it.
do.
Amazing coach, my coach for years.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he's amazing.
He is.
Elijah's amazing. So
Mhm.
I don't know whether I want to do like real estate coaching or just like personal development coaching. I'm kind of tossed, but I definitely want to get to the coaching field. For
What would that
100%.
look like for you? Like, who would be the great client you'd want to work with?
Okay. So anyone that just wants to elevate themselves. Doesn't necessarily have to be a certain tax bracket, a certain gender, anything like that. Just anyone who wants to connect with their inner selves and bring out the best in themselves. I want that person. I want to coach that person.
I get you. What do you think about the idea that, and I wrestle with this all the time, but I am a believer in it. The universe is a mirror for us.
Uh-huh.
We attract what we are. In
That's right.
business, friendships, romantic, across the board, right? Who do you tend to have in your life kind of revolve? Like people who have growth, people who have mindset, people who are ambitious. Like I know that's what I attract. I attract hardworking, ambitious people that are humorous, can have a chuckle, but get down to business.
Yeah. I attract those people as well.
I agree.
I attract those fun-loving people, but like they're serious about their craft.
Yeah.
They're ready to just get down and dirty and make something happen.
But they love what they do.
They love what they do.
Yes.
They love it. They're so positive.
Mm-hmm.
They have the best outlook on life. There's down moments. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
There's always down moments, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Every person that meets, like, yeah, I'm going through this and that, but it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. I have the plan in play, and it's gonna work itself out. I attract those people.
Agree. So Ian, as a last question, I just wanted to share with you. I actually got one new product in today. I'm really excited about it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna jump into it. So I got my high neck earrings already because I am Latina, and I've always wanted some like hoop earrings. You know, it's just the culture. Like you go down and buy some groceries, or I could get down in like my jeans or my Converse. You know, but it has therapy on it.
Okay.
And I'm a huge advocate of mental health, but wearing it to where it's a luxurious look, but you're still proud of it. I know that as a woman of color, it's definitely not been a positive experience over the years, sharing like, so I'm a therapist and what I do for a living is therapy. And it's this dirty word. Not always, it's changing now. What do you think about therapy, the come up, and how it's even played a part in your life?
Right. So, I'm married, right? I had relationship therapy, huge. Actually, before my marriage, I had therapy with a previous woman, right? And it actually saved me from getting married. Been married, right? Huge
learning experiences.
Huge learning experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it came to the point where I bought the ring and everything.
Okay.
I had a ring in my pocket ready to propose. Okay. We had premarital counseling, and things didn't match up.
Right.
And we had to dissolve the relationship.
How much we save?
Man.
How much we save? How much money did you save?
Too much.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Too
people
much.
are like, oh, that's really expensive. And I'm like, go ahead and try the price of a divorce.
Right.
that
divorce price is not cute.
Correct.
It's not cute at all.
Yeah,
So
or the real estate property being split unfairly. Or,
all that.
Right.
All that. So counseling's huge.
What are the main points you've gained from the service itself?
You said it earlier. Handle yourself. Get yourself in order. Because, we go around in life, oh, you're the problem. But at the end of the day, you look in the mirror and you need to face the man in the mirror in order to make everything else go right. That's what I learned about with therapy. Like that's huge. I was that person. Hey, so-and-so's wrong. It's not me. It's so-and-so.
Right.
That person treated me wrong. Hey, it's
blame.
that person.
Blame versus accountability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Huge. Going around thinking everyone else is the problem, but ultimately, I needed to address myself. I needed to fix myself, correct myself.
Correct.
And then the world will treat you accordingly.
Yeah. You teach people how to treat you, but I also think it's how much of your own awareness do you have? I love Maya Angelou, and it's just my favorite quote. Do what you can with what you know and what you have. But the moment you know better and have better, do better.
Do better.
Do better. Right.
And
that's exactly what therapy is. And I'm very transparent with all my patients and all my clients where right now I'm going to therapy twice a week, one with a family unit and one as an individual. And boy, let me tell you, it is worth every single penny. I don't need no red bottoms right now. I don't need a new purse. I don't need that. I need peace.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have peace, you can't even sleep. I sleep like a baby right now. I sleep well because it's money invested. I've always said that within my own personal relationships, my goal is to die much more healed than wounded. And my gift to others is to provide the opportunity to them to die much more healed than wounded.
For sure.
That's it. That's my lifetime goal and my alignment.
And you're doing it.
That's it.
And you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it well.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree because I feel it, and I think it's the same feeling you have. I've seen it. It glows out of you.
Oh, yeah.
So Ian, in transitioning, we're going to ask our interns to ask some questions they have for you because you have plenty of knowledge. So, do you want to go first?
Okay.
Yeah.
It was more like in regards to your career, like, what is the best way to invest in real estate? Because in the future, I plan to invest in real estate. So, what is your intake on that? So, you're a real estate agent.
Yeah. So, I would say the best way to invest in real estate is to invest in yourself, right? So, take real estate classes. If it comes to it, get your real estate license. You know what I'm saying? Read the books. Follow the people on social media that are actually doing it. Have you heard of biggerpockets.com? Have you heard of it?
No.
check it out.
What is it?
Biggerpockets.com. It's like a real estate forum. Okay.
Like a
Well,
forum?
it's an investing forum. So it's a blog. People go in there. They ask questions. They answer it for you. It's huge. Like the knowledge that's on that website.
They drop diamonds.
Man.
Yeah.
Diamonds.
Is it
And it's totally
specifically
free.
just for real estate or?
No, it's not. It's not as specifically. It is real estate heavy, but it's not specifically for real estate. Like I went in there the other day and asked for, hey, what's up with the stock market? What are the best ways to get into the stock market? Because I know real estate like the back of my hand.
Right.
But stock market.
Ain't your thing, yeah.
Yeah, not so much. So I went in there and I asked, and I opened up to the forum. I wrote in the forum, and within 10 minutes, I had 2 or 3 people.
So
come
who
in and
provides
ask.
this information? I'm so curious.
Right. So people that are, they have accredited people that go in there. So they do have like novices that they can come in and just answer the questions, but a lot of the times it's accredited people going in the forums and solving all of your questions. It's a So biggerpockets.com. Check that out.
Okay.
Any other questions that you have?
It's also kind of in regards to that. So, kind of like what I plan to do is to, in order to get, because I don't want to get out of California. Like the weather's like ugly everywhere. And what's it called? My plan is to actually buy a house out of state, rent it out or Airbnb it, make them pay the mortgage while I'm pocketing, I guess, some of the mortgage. And as soon as that house is paid off, sell it. As soon as it gains equity and so on, sell it, and then put a down payment for a house here in California. Well, would that be a good plan, or is it better to like buy an apartment complex, or what do you think is the best to purchase, like get out of real estate so that you could use it for your own personal use?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. And you are on the right path when you said about purchasing, letting it pay off.
Yeah.
I would say if you could start in California with that, because there's no real estate like California real estate.
Really?
Right? There's
Really?
no real
Yeah.
estate like California real estate. It appreciates the highest, it's most consistent in the long run. Stay in California and do that. So not too many people know that that in California as a first time home buyer, you can buy an apartment building up to 4 units, right? With little to no money down, right? So let's say if the apartment building is $600,000, just throwing it out,
Sure.
right? $600,000. You can literally buy that apartment building with only less than $6,000 out of your pocket at the end of the day, right? As a first-time home buyer.
Really?
Right?
Huh.
So, like, let's say you have 4 units. You can live in one of the units and rent out the other 4, and the other 4 will pay for all of the mortgage. So you'll be living rent-free and still have California real estate in your name.
Really?
Right.
Okay, but wait, will I make it to my car safely or not? Yeah or no? I'm just curious.
And that's a real
Right?
question.
That's a real question.
That's a real
Yeah.
question. Yeah. In certain areas,
No. Right.
in certain areas might be a little bit tougher than
Yeah.
others, and then
Yeah.
that
Run to my car.
right, run. You know,
Yeah.
meet you in the front.
Yeah.
That's why we need self-driving cars. So, there's some areas that are a little tough, little sketch, but you just have to find those places. You know, like me, my clients, especially I have a lot of single female. Hey, shout out to single females, man. They're doing it out there.
Yes.
I would say about out of this past year, I've dealt with maybe about 10 single individuals that have purchased homes, right? 8 of them have been females out of 10.
That's it. Educated, woke females.
Yes.
Yes.
Doing it.
Shout out to the interns because all of them are between the ages of 20 and 23. They're here in their summer, right? It's summer 19, and they're here learning about psychology and getting their stuff together for grad school.
And doing
Go
it.
ahead.
Shout
And
out.
asking questions about real estate.
Shout
right?
out, right?
Not turning up out there. Like, turn up is for later.
Right.
That's what we're trying to teach them here as educated professionals, that it is possible.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you did a great example.
Yeah, that's
You're
it.
a
And
great example.
I've told them very frequently that I am debt free. I have no student loans and no debt. That's a thing nowadays. Yeah.
That's
Right.
I can't imagine the degrees, the certifications, the credentials that you have, and you're debt free.
Debt free.
Hustle.
Right. That's right. Uncle Sam and me, we don't have nothing to talk
Ah,
about. I file my taxes.
wrong person.
Right, exactly.
That's amazing.
So, we're going to go on to our other interns' questions because I know we definitely have a male perspective. So, Chris,
Yes.
do you have any questions for Ian today?
Yeah,
Yes.
one quick question is, well, it's kind of 2-in-1. Are interest rates actually low, and is it a buying or a seller's market right now?
Right, so let's start with the interest rates, right? So interest rates is kind of like a twofold, right? Interest rate could be great for you and pretty bad for me, right?
Right.
So what plays into a factor is interest rate is, of course, credit score. What's a thing called loan to value, which means how big of a loan you take out as opposed to how much the home is worth. So for example, if you take out a $900,000 loan on $1 million home, your interest rate is not going to be as good as if you took out a $700,000 loan on $1 million home because of the loan to value, right? So if the loan is closer to the value, it's more risky, so they have to tack that onto the interest rate. So interest rate might not be the best, but if you buy $1 million home and you have a $500,000 loan, right? I mean, it's half, so it's a little bit better. So lenders love that, so the interest rate will be a little bit better. But let's talk historically, interest rates, right?
Yeah.
Interest rates today are pretty much the lowest that they've been in the last 5 years. Great. Interest rates are great no matter where you're at, right? Back in, I want to say 2002, interest rates were closer to 8%, right? Which now they're probably closer to 4, 3.5, right?
Okay.
So even if it jumps to 4.5, they might not be as good as if they have been in the past 2 or 3 years. But as far as historically, like not my parents, but like my friends' parents that owned homes, they had interest rates of 15%, 14%,
Yeah.
which is huge.
Yeah.
So in retrospect, interest rates today, they're great, they're wonderful. And then the second question, refresh.
It was,
the second question.
is it a buyer's or a seller's market?
Right. So right now we're experiencing very low inventory, right? Very low inventory in California.
So the pickings are slim. It's hard to
Slim
find a
pickings.
property. Okay.
Slim pickings.
All
So
right.
that means.
So what do? You drive down and you just kind of like look what's there, and then you just.
You gotta act
jump on it.
fast.
Yeah?
You gotta act fast.
Yeah?
Like
Okay.
in the 0 to, I want to say, $600,000 mark is really competitive. Really, as far as the housing market, really competitive. Anything good will be sold in a week.
Really?
No way.
Anything good,
Dang.
$600,000 low, you'll be sold in a week. Super sellers market. So there are sellers that will go out there and put crappy homes out there. Crappy
And they will
homes.
still sell.
And they will sell.
Mm.
They will sell just because people like, man, I've been looking for 6 months. I've been looking for 8 months, not being outbidded. Every time I submit an offer, I have 6, 7, 8 other offers to compete with. Shoot, I'll take this crappy house, it happens. So yes, it's a seller's market from about 600,000 to below. It's a seller's market. Now, 600,000 and above, the playing field starts to even out, just because not too many people are able to afford $600,000 and more. So the buyer scale is, a little bit smaller than the sellers. There's more sellers, so the sellers are competing for that buyer that can afford their home, right? So it's a little more of a buyer's market from about 600,000 to $1 million, right? And then $1 million and up, it's definitely a buyer's market because homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer. Because unlike you. You know what I'm saying? The regular people can't afford $1 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, hopefully that answered your question.
No, I did.
But it depends on which level you're at.
Okay.
It really depends. But for the most part, 600,000 low, it's the sellers. Everything up, it's the little buyer's market.
So going based off that, is it from a real estate point of view? You think like if a house sits on the market maybe longer than like 6 months, is it bad or is it just because?
Well, yeah. Once again, so it depends on the price point, right? So homes will sit like anything. I would say $2 million and up will sit on the market for 60, 90 days and be totally normal, right? Be totally normal,
Yeah.
right? If a home is on the market, let's say 600,000 below, if a home is on the market for 10 days or longer, it's a huge issue. It's a red flag. Like, what's wrong with that property?
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because, like I said, it's highly competitive during that range. But like 600,000 and above, if it sits on the market for 30, 60 days in this market today, it's not bad. It's not bad. Not necessarily.
All right. And then just I guess from another real estate point of view question, like being in today's economy, Trump has said the economy is booming, but I think in reality, like, stocks are actually selling off. Back to 2005, do you think the housing market will crash, being now, or is it just the economy will crash overall?
Right. That's a great question. And if I had a crystal ball, I'd be a millionaire.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But I have a couple points for you. So, number one, what happened in 2007?
2008.
Yeah, 2007, 2008 was the stock market crash, and then shortly we had a housing crisis.
Yeah.
Right. So what happened back in the day? What partly caused the housing crisis was a bunch of different factors. Things like subprime loans that were given out. Right. So people like me and you, literally, were given loans that had 400 credit scores.
Right, they can't
darn
back it
well,
up.
they ain't
They
gonna
can't
make
back
it,
up.
right?
That's right.
And then also too, so subprime loans, and also no documentation loans as well. So literally, I can walk inside of a bank. So back in 2006, I walked inside of a bank, said, "Hey, I make $150,000 a year. I can afford this house." And the loan officer said, "Can you prove it?" Me, no. Here, you got the loan anyway. So they were just giving the loan to random people, right? And that stuff started catching up. And also too, other loans called an adjustable rate mortgage, which is called an ARM loan. So ultimately, that means is you're fixed for a certain amount of periods. Out of 30 years, you have a fixed rate of 2% for about 3 to 5 years, right? But after that, it would adjust. So literally, people's payments would adjust overnight. So after that third year hit of 2%, year 4, 7%. Year 5, 8%.
Couldn't pay.
So your payment So your payment was like $1,200 for 3 years. Now it's 24, 36, and so people had to let properties go. So that's why the housing market crashed, because of all the faulty loans and stuff like that, right? So that's what caused it. So then today, we don't give out those type of loans anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You have to give up your firstborn son to get a loan.
Right. You gotta
These
give everything.
days, right?
What do I have for lunch? Can I get a septic?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So not too many things happen, right? That happened back in 2007. So will I think it will correct? Every 7 to 10 years the market corrects, and we're way overdue for it to correct since last time, right? So I feel, and a lot of economists feel like it will correct, but not as drastically as what happened in 2008, 2009. So, but also too, I don't know if you know what happened. I think last week, what happened? So, what happened in the stock market?
China.
Inversion, right? So inversion happened in the stock market.
How do you
right?
learn about these things? Do you have a platform that you go to? Do you just look it
Yeah.
up?
So
I think that's what our viewers want to know. How do we find out about these things?
Right. So I do a lot of Yahoo.
You still use Yahoo?
I know.
All
I still
right.
use Yahoo.
All right.
A little outdated.
Do you have a Yahoo email?
I don't.
Okay.
I
All right.
don't.
Just gonna take
I
away
don't.
your.
I don't have AOL either.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. No instant messaging.
So right. So I do watch the fake news and stuff like that. I watch NBC and stuff like that, CNN. But that's how you learn about stuff. So what happened? So inversion happened, right? Let's just talk about it. Inversion happened.
Yeah.
So inversion is when in the stock market you can make more money on a 2-year bond than you would on a 5-year bond, which doesn't make any sense. So usually, if you invest money, the longer you'll get, more money in the long run. But it switched. So now you can make more money in 2 years on a 2-year bond than you would in a 5-year bond. And why that is significant is because the last time that it happened, 18 months later, the stock market crashed. So it's going to be really interesting to see
What happens?
from that event that happened last week. But there's also economists that are saying, the market was totally different back in 2007 than it was today. They don't think that it'll happen, but it'll be really interesting to see what's going on.
No, I agree, and thank you so much for your time. We're gonna go ahead and call it a day right here, just because time, people, they got their lunch hour. So where can people find you? Tell us. Go ahead for my network. What's your social media handle? Where can they find you? If they have follow-up questions, they're trying to buy a house, they're having a baby, how can they contact you?
So you can reach me. I'll go ahead and I'll give them my personal line. It's 714.
The bat line.
723. Right, the bat line.
Okay, go ahead and repeat that. Go ahead and repeat that. The Drake, the hotline bling.
So I do have a music video coming out. I'll talk about that. I do have a real estate music video. It's gonna hit this week or next week. I'll let you know. But So you reach me at 714-723-1545. Facebook, Ian Michael Luxury Estates. Instagram, Ian Michael Luxury Estates as well. If you want a good laugh, Sir Ian Michael on Instagram. That's my personal one. But yeah, that's how you reach me. Ian Michael, Homes by Ian Michael at or Ian at homesbyianmichael.com is my
Dang
email.
it, you got a whole bunch of accounts.
Man,
Yeah.
I need to tighten it up.
I know. So I got one.
Right.
I got one account, just straight across. But my marketing on point, right?
Yeah,
it's
on point.
Be That Therapy across the board, right? So then I know I'll shout you out, you shout me out, and then it's just VIDA Therapy. If you guys got baby mama drama, if you got any relationships you just kind of want to walk through, or a free consultation, like just go ahead and give us a DM, an email, or a call. Yeah, so we appreciate you guys watching today. And if you guys have any questions for Ian, please go ahead and reach out. All right, bye guys.
See you later.
Thank you.